The last bus hissed away from the stop just as Emily rounded the corner, soaked and breathless. She waved frantically, sloshing through puddles, but it was too late. The taillights disappeared into the dark like two dying coals. She stood there, rain sliding down her face, her backpack already drenched. Her phone buzzed once and died. Of course. Battery at 2% all day. She hadn't even brought her charger. There were no cafes open. No one else around. No signal. And no choice. Her house was 60 minutes walk away, just past mile marker 17, down a rural road that snaked through trees and open farmland. She pulled her hood up, clenched her teeth, and started walking. At first, the rhythm of her footsteps and rain was almost calming. The wind howled through the trees, and water gushed along the roadside gutters. Her shoes were soaked in minutes. Her breath came out in foggy puffs. There were no sidewalks, just the narrow gravel shoulder and miles of pitch-black countryside. She'd walked this road before, years ago, but always during the day. It looked different now. Alien. Menacing. At mile marker 14, she passed the old Miller farm. The windows were dark. No animals in the barn, just rusted wind chimes clinking in the wind. At mile marker 15, the rain picked up. Then she heard it, a sound that didn't belong. Footsteps. Behind her. She froze, heart thudding, and looked back. Nothing. She stared down the wet road, only darkness and trees. She stood there trying to listen. Maybe it had been an echo. Maybe her own footsteps, distorted by the storm. She kept walking. A little faster now. And then she heard it again. Wet footsteps, crunching gravel, closer this time. She turned. Again, no one. But the road was curving now, and the trees leaned closer overhead. Visibility was awful. She felt completely alone, except she wasn't. She felt the pressure of eyes, watching her, measuring her stride, her pace, the distance between her and them shrinking with every breath. She couldn't see them, but she felt them. At mile marker 16, the road narrowed. One side dropped into a ditch, the other rose into thick woods. She glanced behind her again. And there, just barely lit by the next distant street lamp, a figure. Tall, unmoving, in the middle of the road. No umbrella, no flashlight, no visible face, just standing there. Emily's blood ran cold. She turned and started running. Rain splashed into her eyes. Her backpack swung wildly with each step. She glanced over her shoulder. The figure was walking now. Not running, just walking. But steadily, unbothered by the rain, gaining ground. She wanted to scream, but her throat locked shut, her breath short and shallow. She veered off the road into the trees, slipping on wet roots. Branches clawed at her jacket. She pushed through until she found a cluster of thick shrubs and dropped behind them, struggling to catch her breath. The rain muffled everything. She wiped her face, ears straining. Then, crunch, closer. She saw a shadow pass behind the trees. She curled into herself, barely breathing. Minutes passed, or seconds. She didn't know. Eventually, she crawled back to the road, checked both directions, and saw nothing. But she didn't relax. She didn't stop. Every step now felt like she was walking inside a dream. Or a nightmare. Too quiet. Too still. She kept walking, fast now, arms shaking, shoes sloshing with every step. She passed mile marker 17. Her turnoff was just ahead, down a gravel driveway behind a line of tall hedges. She slowed, eyes darting. Her chest rose and fell rapidly, the night pressing down on her like a weight. She could feel her pulse behind her eyes. She turned into it and broke into a jog. The house wasn't visible from the road, just woods, fields, and darkness. Then she saw it. A flashlight. Ahead. At the edge of her property, waving side to side, slowly. Her dad didn't use a flashlight. Their porch light was motion sensitive. They had floodlights. This was someone else. She stopped cold, heart hammering. Then she saw another light. From the side. Behind her. A beam swept across the hedge, then hit the trees. She was being herded. Her breath caught in her throat. A new sound joined the rain, low, steady breathing. Not hers. Heavy. Just beyond the tree line. She turned sharply, ran into the trees beside the drive, and crouched behind a fallen log. Her clothes were soaked through. Her teeth chattered. But she stayed absolutely still. The two lights moved, one heading toward the porch, the other sweeping across the woods, looking for her. She pulled her phone out on instinct. Still dead. She bit her lip hard enough to taste blood. Then a voice, soft, male, too close. Emily, her name. It came from the woods to her left. She held her breath, eyes wide. "Emily," the voice said again, almost gently. "You dropped something." No, she hadn't dropped anything. She didn't move, didn't breathe. Then the beam of light froze, paused. A scraping sound, light but deliberate, against the bark just beside her head. Her lungs screamed for air, and then, slowly, the light passed by. The sound stopped. Footsteps retreated, but not far. They were waiting. No more voice. She waited. 10 minutes, maybe 15. The lights disappeared. The woods went still. But the stillness wasn't peaceful. It was unnatural. Like the world was holding its breath, waiting for her to slip. She crept forward inch by inch until she saw the porch light flicker on, finally triggered by movement. But no one was there. She sprinted the last 100 feet up the steps, through the door, locked it, deadbolt, chain, everything. She collapsed inside, shaking. She stared at the door for a long time, waiting for a knock that never came. She double-checked every lock, once, twice, 3 times. Then she curled up on the floor with her back to the wall and waited. The police came 30 minutes later. Her parents, who'd been asleep upstairs, hadn't heard a thing. No signs of a break-in, no footprints, they said, but the rain probably washed them away. They filed a report, said they'd patrol the road for the next few nights. But that was it. The next morning, Emily went to get the mail. There was only one item in the box. No envelope, just a photo. A blurry shot of her, standing in the rain just before she ran. On the back in faint pencil. "Next time you miss the bus, we'll be waiting."